Hey guys, welcome to another video. Jumping right into it. These are the tools that you're going to need to recharge your AC properly. We have our vacuum pump, our refrigerant, we'll get into that just a second. This little tool which punctures the valve and the rubber in here to flush the refrigerant into our line. And then this little manifold with our lines. This is what allows us to pull a vacuum, throw refrigerant back into our system, and all that fun stuff. All of these tools will be linked down in the description, so be sure to snag the right tools before you start this job. And to those of you who follow the channel, this is not my Tacoma, you're right, but the process is the same on the Tacoma. I just wanted to jump on here and hopefully provide some helpful knowledge. Let's go ahead, jump into the engine bay. This is my wife's car. And let's go ahead, let's recharge our AC. So most cars these days use the same refrigerant, R134A. If you want to make sure you have the right stuff, unlike my car, there should be a little sticker here or up here that shows you what refrigerant works for your AC system. You can also hop online or check out your owner's manual to make sure you have the right refrigerant. That sticker down on the frame or up on the hood, as well as the owner's manual, or doing your research online, is going to also help you find out how much refrigerant you're going to need. So what type and how much is super important. The next thing is going to be locating your high pressure line and your low pressure line. And normally in the engine bay, you'll see caps that look like this. You've got L for low, H for high. And that's going to be important with our manifold. You have the high pressure line and low pressure line, and it only fits on each one. The H, the high pressure line coupling that I'll show you, only fits on the high pressure spot, as well as the same for the low pressure spot. This is usually done after replacing a major part like the AC condenser, the AC compressor, or any of the lines. If that's so, you probably don't have any refrigerant left in your system. If you're not sure, be sure to take your truck or your car into a shop where they can pull all of that old refrigerant out of your system. It's harmful to the environment as well as us. With all that being said, let's go ahead, let's grab our tools and let's get started. Okay, so before we go pumping a bunch of refrigerant into our system, we need to pull a vacuum. The vacuum is super important so there's no air or moisture in the line. If you skip this step, you're just gonna be doing it down the road anyway, because moisture and air is what will kill a compressor or any of the parts in your AC system. So we got our vacuum hooked up to our yellow line right here. We got these all hand tight. Right now these are in the closed position because they're not hooked up. We're going to follow our yellow line, plug it into our vacuum pump. Again, hand tight, you don't need to go cranking on these things. Now we're going to take our lines. You see how they have these little couplers on there. Blue goes to our low, so let's go ahead, we'll finagle. There we go. Make sure it locks in place. You can't pull it off. So that is on. We're going to take our red. We're going to take our red, which is our high pressure side, and same thing, just like that. So we got our high hose on, that's not coming off. Our low hose on, those are not coming off. That's hooked up and ready to go. So now we can go ahead and open these up. And now that these are open, we can go ahead and turn on our vacuum pump. Before I turn that on, because it is kind of noisy, once we turn on the vacuum pump, we're going to be pulling a vacuum for about a half hour to 45 minutes. A little side note there for you, so be prepared to be waiting for a little while. Let's go ahead, let's turn this bad boy on. And if you take a look, that is pulling a vacuum. That is pulling all the air and moisture out of our lines. So you've got that turned on, it's pumping, it's getting all that moisture and air out of there. We're gonna come back in about a half hour to 45 minutes and check our meters and see what they're reading. Make sure that they're actually holding that vacuum. So I'm gonna turn that back on, let it run the vacuum, and I will see you guys here in just a second. All right, so here we are about 40 minutes later. We're still pulling a vacuum. We can go ahead and close these guys. Turn off our vacuum pump. All right, and then we just want to check and make sure that that's holding. You can see We're still at 0. Our system is ready to be recharged with refrigerant. You could also step away and check back 15-20 minutes later to make sure it's still holding that vacuum. But after checking everything and sitting here for 5-10 minutes getting ready to film, yada yada, I'm pretty confident that we're good to go. So we're gonna unplug our vacuum here. We can go ahead and unscrew this line. And this line is what connects into that little tool, this bad boy, that connects into our refrigerant. But before I do that, it would be a good thing to add some UV dye or oil into here so that when we go pulling refrigerant into here, it also pulls the oil into the replaced part, like the condenser. The UV dye will also be nice for any future need. So if you start having a leak, you can get a black light, shine it in there, see the UV dye leaking out of the system, and that's where you know you need to replace which part down the road if it happens to break down. So before we screw on the refrigerant, I already added some oil into there as well as some UV dye. And now we're just gonna go ahead and screw on our refrigerant bottle. See if I can do it one-handed. Boom, there we go. So we got our oil in this line, we got our UV dye in this line, and now we're ready to start pumping refrigerant into our system. And now that we've got this hooked up, we need to make sure we get the air out of our line. Your manifold should have a valve right here. Mine doesn't, but you're going to use your screwdriver and press in that release valve. What that's going to do is get all the air out of here. As soon as you see refrigerant come out of that valve, you know you're good to go. So now that we've got air out of our hose, these are in the closed position and our refrigerant is hooked up. Let's go ahead and start the car. So once we're inside the car, we want to make sure it's turned on to cold. We want to turn on our air, and we want to make sure our AC is on. We can be max AC, whichever. We got to make sure our AC is on, and then the clutch on our compressor in the engine bay engages. Let's go check it out. So we got to go ahead and open up our low pressure valve and go ahead and puncture the refrigerant. In the little viewfinder, you should see refrigerant coming into the line. And down inside, your AC compressor clutch should be engaged. On the valves, you'll notice on the low pressure side we're climbing, as well as the high pressure side is climbing. You might have to shake your refrigerant a little bit to help it get in there. You can see when I shake it, the valve goes up, the meter goes up, as well as the refrigerant's coming through the view glass. So we're gonna give it a second. We're gonna let the correct amount of refrigerant go into my wife's car. You'll just repeat that process with the refrigerant. You might have to shake the can a little bit, but you'll feel when it's empty. It's pretty light. That can is pretty light when it's done. I'll check back with you guys here in just a little bit when I have all that refrigerant into the system. So this can is empty. So I'm grabbing the other one, and with that tool, we just twist it on and connect it to our hose. And then we go ahead and push the plunger down, and you'll hear it puncture just like that. And you'll notice it might jump into the yellow, which is okay, it's perfectly normal. It'll slowly come back down into the green, but basically I want to say that say in range as well as that say in range when I've added the rest of this refrigerant in there. So pretty cool. Anybody can do this. That's what I love about these simple jobs, these DIY jobs. As long as you have the right tools, you can get it done as well. All right, so we've added the correct amount of refrigerant into the car. Check this out. We've got green across the board. That's gonna dance a little bit higher. That's okay. Once you've added all your refrigerant, be sure you close this valve before you go ahead and disconnect anything, right? Don't want any of that pressure or refrigerant leaking back out of your yellow line. Before you disconnect that refrigerant can, screw your low valve down, make sure all the valves are closed, take your refrigerant can off. At this point in time, we can go ahead and turn the car off and disconnect our lines. That's what we're gonna go ahead and do. But before we turn it off, we gotta climb inside the car and make sure. Oh yeah, that is blowing cold air. I wish I had like a little thermometer to show you, but trust me, holy cow, this is cold AC. That is so awesome. All right, let's go ahead. We'll just turn this bad boy off. We can come over here, disconnect 1 and 2 of our lines, and then we're gonna go ahead, don't forget to put your caps back on. And that's all there really is to recharging your AC properly. When you pull a vacuum, pull all that moisture and air out of there, you can now go about putting new refrigerant in there and drive away knowing that your AC system is going to be closed and nothing's going to wreck it in the future, hopefully. So if you found this video helpful, please leave a comment down below, like the video, subscribe for more. We'll see you guys in the next one.